What's up everybody, another beautiful day in the Dragonhouse, and today we're taking a look at heroic Zskarn, or however you pronounce that, the Vigilant Steward in the new raid Aberrus, the Shadowed Crucible. Now I'll be going over all the new mechanics, how they work, and how to deal with them. Keep in mind that this is PTR, so things can change or be reworked, and if they rework this a ton, I will make another guide. So, the Vigilant Steward. That's a trap! The main mechanic of this fight are the Dragonfire traps and the animated golems. So each tile on this platform has a Dragonfire trap on it. And while testing, boss always activated the two nearest traps to him and one rando trap in range. Once a trap is activated, that tile, if you will, is dead, as the trap will continuously spew out fire. That gives you a stacking dot, which was dispellable, but it really hurts. Trust me. So these traps will work-ish a bit like Broodkeeper, much to your tank's rejoice. They determine which traps gets activated, which will come into play a bit later. Now, throughout the fight, boss also activates golems, and these golems will beeline towards traps and try to activate them. They can be crowd controlled, so interrupt, stuns, grips, etc. Once they've been defeated, you can click them and get an extra action button, which allows you to deactivate a trap. However, there will always be more traps than golems. So as the fight progresses, even if you play it flawlessly, you will have traps up. Now, throughout the fight, boss will also throw out shrapnel bombs, which detonates after being on the ground for 30 seconds, dealing near lethal raid-wide damage in a dot. So tanks needs to soak these before this happens, or immunes like Bubbles, Turtle, Shaman with Ank. Now the boss also targets several players with unstable embers, and these players deal damage to anyone within 5 yards of them. Now all around the encounter area there's dragon statues, and at 100 energy boss will cause whichever statue is the closest to him to erupt. So a series of eruption, each increasing its range. So first hits near the statue, then further out, and finally all the way to the center of the room. And as the fight progresses, or rather each subsequent tactical destruction will have an additional statue up to a total of 4. So eventually half the room will be covered by these flames. So what we did was try to activate traps along the edges of the room and moving boss to a new statue following each tactical destruction, so that we'd fill up traps on one side of the room mostly, and as we started getting the 4x statue destruction waves, we have him spawn on the side covered in traps so we could run to the safe side instead. You want to prioritize deactivating traps near the center or on whichever side you want to be safe. Like I mentioned earlier, boss activates 2 traps near it and 1 random in range, so you'll most likely use most of your trap deactivates for those random range traps to keep the room clear and controlled. So like I said, you will get way more traps than golems over the course of the fight. So might even be a case where you'd save trap deactivations to be able to use them all on rando traps. So on pull, for example, you get 2 traps near boss and 1 in range, then 3 golems spawn. So you'd use one of their deactivations on the first rando trap, and then you save the other 2 for rando trap number 2 and 3, because the deactivation kits, if you will, last for a minute after a player picks them up. Unsure how long the golem corpse stays, but regardless, you have plenty of leeway to hold on to the deactivations, and using them only on rando traps means you have 100% control over where you spawn the rest of the traps. Now, whenever golems spawn, you want to make sure they're interrupted, stunned, and preferably stacked, which is only doable with grips and knockbacks, as they will always run towards non-active traps. So make sure to have knockbacks or grips for these to make it easier, and everyone helps nuke him down. You can pre-assign players to pick up these deactivation kits and be in charge of clearing rando traps, preferably high mobility range or a red paladin just to piss them off. Wait for me! And that's pretty much it for the Steward on Heroic, because I'm not saying the other name. Let me know what you think about this fight. And if you have any questions at all about this encounter, hit me up in the comments, or become a patron or Twitch sub and get access to the Stankie Discord, where you can get help with anything raiding related. I'm also streaming all of my raid progression on Twitch, so make sure to check that out. It's on Stankie Gaming. And don't forget the usual stuff, like, comment, subscribe, and ring that notification bell. Notice me! And yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Stankie Gaming.